This is the CJ Silas Show. She's been talking sports for over half her life. You'll hear big-name guests and all the hot topics. Her roller derby sisters call her Dodge Her Blue. CJ's proud of her California roots and time in New York. Born and raised in L.A., college at USC and Syracuse University. She's not afraid to share her opinions with you. And, like it or not, she wants to be the change. Ladies and gentlemen, all ears and no mask required. Here she is, CJ Silas.
Hey, welcome in live and direct after a week off. It's the CJ Silas Show from San Luis Obispo, California, ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7, The Ticket. It's sure been fun to be a Dodger fan, and I think tomorrow night's West Coast World Series is going to be a lot of fun. You'll be able to hear Game 5 of the division series between the Giants and the Dodgers right here on ESPN Radio 1280 AM. Last week we did not have a show because of the wild card game. Oh my gosh, against the Cardinals. It's sure been fun. And what I tried not to do in the game last night, at home alone, where I was scream so much that I didn't have a voice for tonight's show. Tomorrow night's game is a do or die, obviously. If you don't know this about baseball, and it's okay if you don't, it's the 5-game series is the divisional series. The next 2 series, the championship series and the World Series, are best of 7. It's okay if you didn't know that. It's no big deal. But that's what makes tomorrow night so important, is that it's the last game. And whoever wins that game will move on to take on the Atlanta Braves in the NLCS beginning, I'm pretty sure, on Saturday. Is it Saturday or Friday? It's Saturday. And the one who loses goes home. It's so crazy. It's been so fun. We will have Game 5 right here for you. And then I'm warning you, because we don't know what's going to happen with the Dodgers tomorrow. If they win tomorrow, we're probably not going to have a CJ Silas show for a couple weeks, because we're going to have the NLCS. If the Dodgers lose and the Giants go to the NLCS to take on the Braves, you will hear that on our sister station, K-Jewel. Okay? I'll still be here next week, even if the Orange and Black goes to the NLCS against the Braves. All right? Follow me on social media. We'll give you all the info there. Speaking of social media, still a chance to get in on our October contest. Darlene Azevedo won our August contest. And then someone named Shorte, I'm pretty sure I know who that is, won our September contest. Now we're in our October. You go to social media and what do you do, Gabe? You go to the last contest post. Well, we don't have a picture of our September winner yet because they haven't picked up their stuff. So just follow social media. Rachel, who's producing all of our social media, she will make sure we remind her to get out some information so that people, yes, you go to the CJ Silas Show post where Darlene is standing with her Kobe Bryant poster and her CJ Silas Show hat, and subscribe. Like the post, put your Instagram. Obviously, if you comment on the post, then we'll know who you are. And then subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then just write subscribed in a comment under that. That'll give us your Insta handle. Is that what they call it? A handle? A username? I don't know. It's so weird. We've got a lot going on today. Wait, why are we even talking about any of this? It's the 500th. Wait a minute. I'm not really sure if it's the 500th show. I think. My brother said to me, your 500th show should be in October of 2021. And I'm trying to do the math for like the past week. And I think today could be 498. Whatever. The month of October, we're celebrating the 500th CJ Silas Show tonight. We're starting our celebration with interns, past interns from the CJ Silas Show calling in. And I don't know which one's calling. I just know that some are calling. And I've got, we're probably going to play some games with our CJ Silas Show former interns. I've got a few things we're going to play with, like a word association game, and we'll see. We'll see when we get to it. They're going to be calling in. Before they do, I want to let you know I'm still celebrating Black History Month and year on the CJ Silas Show a little bit later in the show, because I'm just fired up about what's going on with Jon Gruden, not just in the NFL, but in the world of sports. If you're Urban Meyer right now, are you the happiest person on the planet that Jon Gruden just stepped down as the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders? It always happens like this. There's some big story that embarrasses a human, and then something else happens within like 5 days of it, and that mortified, awful person, that jerk whose integrity and dignity is just awful, somehow they get out of the line of attention. They get out of they're not the hit of the day. How thankful is Urban Meyer that Jon Gruden's emails to some of the people in the Washington football team office came out over the weekend in a story? Hello, on Monday Night Football. Really? Really? Just coincidentally? Controversy has followed Urban Meyer everywhere he's gone. I have no words. He's the most despicable human, not the most, but one of the most despicable humans in the sport of football at the collegiate level and now at the NFL level. He's covered up domestic abuse. He's covered up racial incidents. He's covered up crimes in his program at Florida, where in 6 years, 30 of his players were accused of crimes, some of them even convicted. He then later decided he was going to hire Chris Doyle, that strength and conditioning coach from Iowa, who had 55 players come out and say and complain and protest because of his mistreatment of them, and most of them were black. And then Urban Meyer freaking hires the guy to go with him to Jacksonville. Oh, and by the way, when Chris Doyle left Iowa, he got a $1.1 million payout. Oh, I'm sorry. You abuse players and men, and you get to walk away with $1 million. How the heck does that happen? At Ohio State, Urban Meyer covered up what happened with Zach Smith and his wife, even though he and his wife both knew what was going on. The coach also had racial issues on campus with the way he treated some of the players. And he did creepy things on video on his phone. Urban Meyer covered up for him and then lied about it. This is not only about Jon Gruden. This is about a culture in a sport that is despicable. I am so close. If I didn't do this job, I probably wouldn't even watch football anymore. A, because the Miami Dolphins are horrible, and they have been for so long. I can't even remember a time that they won anything in the postseason. There is so much embarrassment in humanity, integrity, and dignity at the college football level, at Division I college. It's nauseating. But this isn't just about Urban Meyer and Jon Gruden. This is about the boys club. This is about winning is everything. This is about money. It's about number one in the NFL, number one in college football especially. Money, 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 ahead of dignity and ahead of integrity. The Guardian said that Urban Meyer is above reproach. The Guardian says Urban Meyer is college football enabler in chief. That's the best phrase ever. He's not the only one. The NFL is misogynistic. It's hetero. It's racist. It's sexist. It allows sexual misconduct to be a normal behavior. The NFL hides criminal behavior, allows convicted criminals to come back and play in their sport. The NFL celebrates guys like Michael Vick and lets them work for them. The NFL is warped. End zone messaging, end racism, stop hate, inspire change. That is a joke. That is a facade. It is a cover-up for the most despicable business in the world of sports. I love the game of football. I'm so grateful and thankful that I have spent 9.5 years announcing junior college football because I still get to be involved and care about young men and the sport of football. But people like Urban Meyer, Jon Gruden, Chris Doyle, Zach Smith, Dan Snyder, Bruce Allen, New York Jets owner Woody Johnson, who had inappropriate behavior towards women, brown, and black people. He's a tool. How about New York Mets general manager Jared Porter, who finally was fired after inappropriate texts and images that he sent to a female reporter? How about Mickey Callaway, who actually did horrible things and then got another job with the LA Angels? Thankfully, he had finally been found out inappropriate advances towards women in the media. He got a job with the Angels, not anymore. How about The Seattle Mariners CEO Kevin Mather questioning his players' language skills. I'm sorry. Major League Baseball is an international sport. You're going to get men coming from countries that don't speak English, but play the exact same game. Maybe you need to learn another language. How about the Maryland situation with DJ Durkin, who was then later defended by another one of his football buddies, Will Muschamp? How about the Houston Texans? The Houston friggin' Texans, they haven't done a thing about Deshaun Watson. 23 women have complained about his behavior. How are there 23 women that are going to sit together and lie about Deshaun Watson? What about Colorado State and the racially insensitive and abusive behavior by more than 20 staff and former players coming and calling out Colorado State? The list goes on and on and on. The NFL Players Association and the Washington football team cheerleaders have now asked for that investigation that now uncovered this with Jon Gruden. They've asked to see it. Those cheerleaders are the victims. They still don't even know what's going on in the investigation because they can't see the emails and the paperwork. Are you serious? The NFLPA is demanding that the investigation be made public. This information about Jon Gruden came out during the investigation with 650,000 emails from the Washington football team's investigation. And the cheerleaders have been shut out, even though they're the ones whose boobs have been shown to coaches and into... I can't believe this. I'm so mortified. Hold on. I got to take a deep breath. The Washington football team made a secret video. Y'all know this. Taking shots of nipples, nakedness, outtakes from a video that was being made that was clean. But there are going to be times when a woman's top falls off or her bikini bottom slides to the left and you see her pubic hairs or whatever it might be. Can you say pubic hairs on the radio? I just did 2 times. This video, this secret video, was shared by management and the coaching staff. And these women haven't seen what's going on. Are you kidding me? I hope the NFL Players Association and the attorneys for these cheerleaders get together. This is so horrific. But it's not a new story. It is not a new story. If you think these few things that I mentioned are the only things, you've got to be kidding. What about the pink ribbon? Oh, I love the pink ribbon. The NFL. Oh, yeah. We support breast cancer awareness and research and prevent. Oh, really? You support that? But you don't support the women that get that disease if their husbands are beating on them or their boyfriends are laying them on a bed with pictures of guns. On and on and on and on. Urban Meyer, Jon Gruden, they are just 2 pawns in a game that needs to end. In fact, it's one of those games on a board like Sorry or Monopoly or the Game of Life or Candyland, where if I had a chance, I would just pick up the board with all the playing pieces and all the cards and the dice and everything, and I would just flip that freaking board off the table. Because that's what has to happen in the sport of football, at the collegiate level, and in the NFL. This has got to stop. Oh, but Jon Gruden was just upset, and he just said things because he was mad. Okay, so if you're mad, there are a lot of other words you can use without insulting and degrading other people. If you don't stop objectifying women, if you don't stop looking at brown and black people as lesser human beings, you should not be able to make millions and billions of dollars. This has got to stop. It's supposed to be a happy show. It's the 500th show, we think. We're not sure. Did y'all do the math? Is it 498? Is it 489? Is it 499? Either way, we're celebrating the 500th show on the CJ Silas Show tonight. Thank you for listening. Thanks to my partners for letting me do what I do. Dermatologist Dr. Brad Kurgis, dentist Dr. Daniel Lapidus and Larry Ackerman, the Avila Bay Athletic Club and Spa, Michael Moore Sports Recovery, the Slow Wellness Center, Joy Shell Beach, California Fresh Markets, where I shop in Pismo Beach. There's also one on Foothill Boulevard in San Luis Obispo, and the original El Rancho which is in Santa Ynez. We're going to come back. I think there's a caller on the line. It's a special guest. You're listening to the CJ Silas Show on ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7, The Ticket.
Welcome back to the CJ Silas Show. From her perch atop Madonna Mountain, let's hear it for CJ Silas.
This segment, Hello, is brought to you by Gymnazo in San Luis Obispo. It is an incredible facility. You've heard Peyton and Michael on my show before. They came in studio a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, to help me figure out how we get back into fitness and health and exercise and muscle building safely. Gymnazo in San Luis Obispo. Go to gymnazo.com. Check out all the coaching staff, the classes, the availability, and they do have specials if you let them know that CJ Silas sent you. Just go check them out. If you're looking for a place to work out, you want something different, you want something safe, they do outdoor workouts, it's just the best. And I wanted to welcome them. We think it's the 500th show, but we're really not sure now that we've done the math. It could be like maybe 498. It could be 501. We know that the 500th episode of the CJ Silas Show is happening sometime between now and 2 weeks ago and 2 weeks in front of us. But because of it, I've got former interns calling the show, and I'm hearing that Shane, we called him Shane the intern when he was here, is on the line. Is this Shane the intern?
We are here and we are live, CJ. How's it going?
Hi, buddy.
How we doing?
Well, after last night's game, a lot better than I thought I would be doing if it was a different outcome,
I
right?
haven't come down yet.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. Thursday should be fun, huh?
Yeah, I was actually thinking they were doing a viewing party at Dodger Stadium tomorrow, and I was thinking, well, I could shift my schedule and I could go down. But here's the problem with these viewing parties. And I did this last year for the World Series. You know, I was at Game 5 and 6 in the parking lot, but they didn't allow alcohol because of COVID. So it was safer to do something like that with the Delta variant still being crazy. And last year, because there was no alcohol and they only allowed 200 cars in, it was really small. But I think this viewing party, I don't know if there's a max, and I know they're going to be selling alcohol. And I just thought it would be too dangerous to be around all these crazy drunk Dodger fans.
So. Yeah, I saw some videos from these past two games, and they got a little rowdy out there.
Yeah, see, I don't need that. I'm too serious about the Dodgers. Okay, so people want to know, do you remember what years you were an intern on the CJ Silas Show?
Oh, no doubt. 2013, 2014, probably 2014 and 15.
Okay, so you were a while ago, and I remember that you had your bike stolen. That's one of, like, if you go back to CJ Silas Show.
That's the iconic story. I love it.
So, and if you go back to the
representative of who you are as a person.
Oh my, well, that's not what it's about. It's that memory you have. So I have memories of interns that I probably would never call the show. They would never call me because we don't have a relationship. But Shane and I actually still go to Dodger games together. We've been to playoff games together, in fact.
Yes, we do.
Whenever I go to games where I have an extra ticket or I think he might want to come, I always send messages to him. But I remember there's only one time I've ever given a very big gift to an intern. Now, at the time, Shane, and you can fill the blanks in, Shane did not have a car. So he skateboarded to the studio a lot from school and slow. And then I'm like, no more skateboarding. You've got to ride a bike. He's like, okay, I'll ride my bike. So then you started riding your bike to the station to be an intern on the show. Then what happened?
So the bike just got stolen out of my alley, you know. I probably just got a little bit too comfortable with where I was leaving it, and one day I came out to go ride to class, and she was gone.
Just like that, Shane had no way to get to the studio.
Just like that.
And then you were skateboarding again, all the way to the studio. Yeah, and that bothered me.
That was pretty fun, though.
But the problem is, there were times when it was dark because when the sun sets at 5, we leave the studio in the dark, and you had no lights.
Yeah.
You had no reflectors. So we called. Do you remember what the bike store was?
You know, I totally forget, but it was that, like, it was almost Cal Poly green. It was a beautiful beach cruiser with, like, I think it had internal gears in the hub, so it wasn't even like a 1-speed cruiser. It was like 3 speeds. It was pretty rad.
Okay, so this is what happened. I did not buy you a bike. We're not going to make people believe that because it's not true, but I called Ira's bike shop in AG, and Ira has since passed away. I don't know if you knew this, Shane. And I think his son, his son's running the shop now. It was a couple of years ago. It was pre-COVID. And I called him and I told him what happened. And I was asking, could you give me a deal on a bike? Do you have a used bike? All my kid needs to do is safely get to and from Cal Poly. I don't want him on a skateboard. And he literally said, well, why don't we give him a new bike? So Shane came into the office and didn't, like one of my ex-boyfriends, we were standing in the studio. I don't remember. How did I present you with the bike? Do you remember?
It was propped up, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, my God, is this really happening right now? I was in shock. I loved it.
So we thank Ira's Bike Shop in Arroyo Grande for giving you. But
yes, we do.
What's also cool about you, I'm sorry I cut you off, is that we've stayed friends, even though you're way younger than me. And whenever I go to football games in L.A. for Hancock, I would stop at the bike store that you used to work. So bikes were kind of our theme.
That's what I was about to say. Is we're going to have to put those two shops in connection with each other or something.
Seriously. So now what are you doing? People want to know what happens to the CJ Silas Show interns when they leave.
Just working in some commercial real estate right now and doing some property management. So working the 9-to-5 corporate gig, but who knows what's in store. Working maybe some real estate and trying to keep a lot of options open.
Okay, but before you went into wearing a suit or a tie, right, you were working in a gastropub, and I came and saw you. I watched a playoff game. What was that place called that I came and visited you, Shane?
Great. It was called HQ Gastropub. They're actually starting to get pretty big, too. I worked at the original location in Woodland Hills. They have had one in Huntington Beach for maybe 3 or 4 years now, and they're planning to open one in Santa Monica. So if you like sports and you like music, it's a fun place.
We had fun that night, but you didn't buy us any drinks and you didn't give us a discount. I do remember that. I'm kidding. It was before you were a manager. It was when you were still.
It was before I had pull, probably.
Yeah, I know. But we had a great time. I'm just kidding. Well, we wish you the best of luck. I do want to do quickly with you one of my games. I like to do games. Stream of consciousness.
Let's do it.
Okay, so. Do you want to do word association where I just say one word and you say the first thing that comes to your mind that's clean, or do you want to do a stream of consciousness where I just ask you questions about yourself?
I like word association.
Okay, here we go. Word association. First things to come to your mind when I say Tom Brady.
Cheater.
Tiger Woods.
Greatness.
Christmas.
Spirit.
Dog.
Lovable.
Urban Meyer.
Scum.
Kobe Bryant.
Legend.
Peyton Manning.
Nerd.
Eggs.
Breakfast.
Last one, Dodgers.
Heart and soul.
All right. Hey, Shane, the intern, I love you, man. And if the Dodgers keep going,
you,
you're the best. I appreciate you. Next time you're in slow, come into the studio. And next time I head down for a Dodger game, you're going to get the call. You're the best, buddy.
Always. I'll
All right.
get you that drink next time.
Yes. Talk to you later. All right.
Yeah.
Shane, the intern. Oh, goodness gracious. That kid, man. That kid was a really good golfer. I think he was on the track team I'm pretty sure he was on the track team at Cal Poly, but I guess there's someone else on the line, so I didn't want to keep Shane too long. But Shane worked at a really cool bike store, and we would always stop there on our way down to Hancock football games when they were in L.A., and now I think he finally decided he was going to move into something with a little more prestige, because even though working as a bartender at a gastropub, working as a manager, and I work in a restaurant still, so I get what that means. But I think as a 20-something-year-old kid, the restaurant business is great, but you want it as a fallback on. You don't always want it as something that's exactly what you do, or you call it your profession, especially when you have a Cal Poly education, because a lot of people think the Cal Poly education is the best education, or one of the best. All right, I don't know who this is, but this, I guess it's the 500th anniversary show. We're trying to figure out. Raphael just got here. Gabe's here. Angelika's here. I've got 3 interns, and none of us can figure out if it's really the 500th show. But we're celebrating it anyway. We think the 500th CJ Silas Show falls sometime in this month. And because there may not be any more CJ Silas shows depending on the National League Championship Series and the World Series, we're celebrating it today. We were going to celebrate it last week, but the Dodgers were in the wild card game. And, that's who's on the... Oh, it's Big Bad Bubba from YouCan'tBetInTheUS.com. Hold on. Bubba, is that you?
Is Chelsea on a champagne run right now?
It is you, Big Bad Bubba. Wouldn't it be nice? No, Chelsea didn't even recognize the fact that it's a CJ Silas Show's 500th show.
The corks will be popping later tonight.
Do you know how much money that guy's made if I've done 500 shows in this studio?
Well, I thought he was there for a front row seat every episode. You're telling me he takes off?
Oh, yeah, he leaves at about 4 when the production crew shows up. You know how that is. Drew Bonadelli, welcome back to the CJ Silas Show. Thanks for calling in, bud.
Oh, thank you. I think this is my debut appearance, so welcome in its current form. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Always nice to talk with you on air or off.
Listen. Why couldn't you just for like the first part of the segment act like you were Big Bad Bubba? I mean, because even though you don't think that was a popular segment, we did a Big Bad Bubba from YouCan'tBetInTheUS.com on this show called The Sports Bite with Mike Wozniak for a long time because it was still illegal to gamble in sports. So we had this like spoof, and you played him so nicely, and you've retired him, or did he die? What happened to Big Bad Bubba?
Missing at sea, I think, is a lack. Okay. Pronounced, assumed deceased. Okay. But he had a good run.
You are one of the people that has worked with me, not on the CJ Silas Show, but you worked on the Sports Bite with Mike and I think that you were an intern at one point. But now, of all the people that worked in ESPN 1280 studios, you're actually a professional broadcaster. So tell the CJ Silas Show listeners what you're doing now.
Well, first of all, it all started with CJ Silas coming into Eric Burdick's sports writing class at Cal Poly to speak about your exciting career, and
so long
that triggered some bells, and I came in, and luckily he gave me a T-shirt, a couple stickers, and a little internship. So grateful to be doing that, and still to be calling football and basketball games for Compass Media.
You work with Tyler Brewer, who has also worked on the Sports Bite with us.
Yeah, Tyler Brewer of the Drew and Brew Show, which was a KCPR classic back in the mid-2000s.
Totally.
We were on Sunday afternoons, I think 3:00. It was must-listen stuff thanks to T. Brew.
When's your next game?
Despite him being a Dodger fan.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to get to the broom and the hat in a minute because I remember that. So what's your next game? What's coming up for you this weekend on Compass?
This weekend we're in the ACC. It looked like it was going to be a top 10 matchup before the season, but both teams have struggled. We've got Miami and North Carolina. So it should be some good offense from Sam Howell and the Tar Heels, but a bit of a drag compared to the preseason hype of that one.
I do want to ask you a couple questions that we put together for you about your time working with me. But before I do want to let people know Drew Bonadelli worked on the Sports Bite with me and Mike Wozniak, and there was a long time ago, where the Dodgers swept your team, the Hated Orange and Black, and we made a bet. And you had to bring a broom in and a Giants hat, and you had to sweep it around the studio. Do you remember that?
What a low-stakes series.
Come on, that was fun.
What's our bet for Game 5?
Oh,
What's our bet for Game 5, then?
Well,
this was destined to go 5. I knew the Dodgers. Yeah. I knew you were going to win last night. So
yeah, I actually thought it was going to be I really thought the Hated Orange and Black would be up 2-0, and then the Dodgers would win 2 at home. That's what I thought when last week before the series started. I'm happy it went the way it did because the games have been fun, and it's always nice when the other team wins on the road. It just makes it more exciting and fun, which is what's going to happen tomorrow night, I hope. But anyway, let's not talk about that, okay? Let's not talk about that.
Can you hook me up with a ticket for tomorrow night? Can I get is there a CJ Silas VIP lane at Oracle? Do you have any Northern California connection?
No, you can go to Dodger Stadium and you can watch with everyone else in the bleachers, or they're calling it the pavilion. You can go watch with the Dodger fans. I can get you in there for $70.
I got to commend the Dodger fans for arriving on time. It was a great atmosphere there.
Right.
Love the wind. The Game 3 wind.
Gosh, that was so crazy.
That was a lot of fun.
Somebody said to me sometimes power outages, lightning, snow, rain, they do delay the start. Why didn't they have a wind delay? That would have been hilarious if they had a wind delay.
That would have been a long delay with 40-mile-an-hour solid dust
for a while. Yeah. Drew Bonadelli from Compass Media is joining us on the CJ Silas Show. He is actually a professional broadcaster who worked as an intern on the shows that I've done here at 1280, so it's kind of fun and nice. So I've got some questions for you. 3 questions about your time working with CJ. Okay? The closest time you ever quit the show.
Oh, closest time to quitting, probably when I wasn't allowed to do the play-by-play of any of your roller derby bouts.
Why do you think that happened? Do you want to remind the listeners of the CJ Silas Show why you weren't allowed to?
I mean, Jelson is no fun is what it comes down to, I think.
How about, does it come down to adult beverages that are served at roller derby? Could that be part of it?
Oh, the ethics, yeah.
So the first roller derby game that Drew Bonadelli came to in Paso Robles, he was wasted. He got so drunk.
We were throwing the football around.
They were throwing the football at a roller derby, and it went on to the track.
No.
Didn't you almost get kicked out? Didn't you almost get kicked out?
Me and Berta the Herda and I met in the parking lot after the game and had a physical shoulder-to-shoulder bash. I don't think she liked me, but I was a big fan of hers.
Okay, question number 2. The coolest person you ever got to call as a guest on the show, if you got to make the phone call.
Well, the first day you threw your Rolodex at me, you said, just find somebody. Mm-hmm. And the names in it were incredible. I think the first call that got answered that first day was Bobby Bowden.
Oh, yeah.
And
you were
when he was...
Yes. The late
he was recently retired, or was he still out? He might have still been coaching.
He was still coaching when he was on that show.
Yeah.
The recently passed Bobby Bowden. And you were the one that made that call.
Right.
Huh.
Yes, he was a little confused by the town name. I do remember.
San Luis Obispo.
Hey, this is where CJ Silas is in San Luis Obispo. St. Louis and Obispo. So we got him. I think we ended up getting him through. And Lee Corso was another one. I learned he was a pencil executive, Dixon Ticonderoga vice president from his answering machine. Thanks to your Rolodex.
Oh my gosh, we've had a lot of fun on the CJ Silas Show. Okay, so the hardest thing I ever made you do, Drew Bonadelli, when you worked on the CJ Silas Show?
Let's see here. These weren't pre.
I know. Should we have prepped you on this?
This is on. No.
You're a thinker.
The hardest thing.
I thought it was going to be sweeping around the Giants hat when you got swept by the Dodgers.
Well, I think I blocked that whole memory. I don't have any memory of that. No, it was sweet. To be honest, anything that I was assigned by you or any production stuff you needed help with was always a breeze. It was Waz and Chelson and those guys that were the toughest ones to kind of deal with. But you were always, of course, a dream to work with.
Well, we're sure proud of you, and you've done a great deal with your career. But I heard you also found someone that would marry you and have a baby with you, which is really awesome.
Yeah, the long con. I guess the long con is still working.
You have a little boy, right?
You
have a little boy.
Yeah, little Miles. Yeah, he's turns 2 in December.
Gosh.
So he'll be down. He'll be a maniac next basketball season. We'll get him down there at some point.
Okay, cool.
In the winter for hoops.
All right, maybe it'll work out that you can come to the 10-year anniversary show next March. When we
That'd be fantastic.
Okay.
Is this an invite?
Yeah, it's an invite. It's official.
Baggett? Is it a Baggett live from Baggett show?
I don't know. We have to check out the Cal Poly baseball season and see what happens and around the 31st of March, which is the actual anniversary day, 10 years. Can you believe I've made it 10 years doing this craziness?
10 years? I mean, I'm not going to age you, but you're a salty veteran. 10 years. You can add a few numbers to the zero.
All right, buddy.
I don't know if you've yeah. No, keep it up. Are you nervous? How nervous are you? 0 to 10.
You mean for
As
the
heavy favorites tomorrow night?
Oh, I am nervous. I'm a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm right down the middle.
The Nationals give you a perennial all-star shortstop who's making $7.5 million for no reason to trade him. Could have Soto and Turner, it'd be fine. Give away Scherzer, that's all right. But Turner's making $7.5 million. You get Trey Turner, you lose Muncy, it doesn't even matter. Bellinger's getting hits. Getting hits now. The guy
so you're nervous.
7.
You're clearly nervous as a fan of the Hate Orange and Black. You're obviously more nervous than me.
Underdog.
Okay.
I like being the 107-win underdog.
Okay. All right. Listen.
Franchise record.
Drew Bonadelli, Compass Media. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much, CJ.
Right. Take care.
Pleasure to be on.
Say hi to Miles.
Bye-bye.
Peace out. Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Wow, he sounded a little nervous about the game tomorrow. It is the CJ Silas Show celebrating 500 episodes, we think. And that was Drew Bonadelli from Compass Media, one of the interns that is now actually a professional and successful and very talented broadcaster. We're going to come back. We've got Black History. We've got Cal Poly, Hancock, and Cuesta Sports Update. You are listening to the CJ Silas Show. In case you ever miss it live, you can always find the podcast wherever you listen to yours. Easy way. Just go to the CJSilasShow.com. Also, please go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. It's the CJ Silas Show on ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7, The Ticket.
Now, back to the CJ Silas Show on ESPN Radio 1280, The Ticket.
Welcome back to the CJ Silas Show. This segment is brought to you by dentist Dr. Daniel Lapidus and Larry Ackerman. We're going to get right to it. Black History in just a minute, but my gosh, who set up all these people to call in? Who did? Angeliki? Amanda. Amanda set up all these people. But you know what would have been nice had y'all told me who it's going to be, and not like right before. Hey, Peyton's on the phone. Okay, could you have told me yesterday maybe, or like a week ago? Peyton's calling in. She is. I call her P, from the NFL Network. She's one of the CJ Silas Show interns, but she wasn't just an intern. She was like Tawny Davis. She came here twice. She did her winter internship with India, Dominic, and Epiphany from Syracuse grad student program. And then she came back to do her capstone, which is like a grad thesis, that summer after. And she's on the CJ Silas Show. Hi, P!
Hi.
God, it takes
Great to be here.
It's good to have you. It takes 500 episodes to get you to call into the show, huh? Is that what it is?
I know. Yeah. What's up with that?
Sheesh. I want to talk about your internship here. But first, I want to bring up my best memory of us, because I was going to ask you. Okay, before I bring up my best memory, you tell me, without telling the story, what's your best memory of our relationship and you being an intern here?
Oh, man. Well, you know, I think my best memory is there was it was a day kind of like today, or like this week with all the Gruden news, and there was something you were so fired up about, and I can't even remember what it was, but it was very similar to this, and you were so hesitant to share your feelings on social media, and I was just telling you, go for it. Go for it, go for it. Just be unapologetic, like you are on air. You can do it on social media. It's okay. And that was, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Now? And so that was a pretty profound thing for us to be dealing with at that time. Now social media has changed so much, but I loved that moment, because it was a moment of me teaching you, but also you teaching me to think a couple of times before you post anything or before you do anything, and like in teaching you were also teaching me. So that was the main memory that came out.
Sure. Okay, that is not what I thought you were going to say. You're going to make me cry. I thought you were going to say when we went to the World Series together.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I thought you meant okay.
Yeah, no.
I was thinking more in internship, not just general. But
no.
Yes, how could you forget that?
It works. Okay, this is one of the best CJ Silas Show stories of interns. And by the way, Peyton is now at the NFL Network. Her first job there was a temporary job working on the 100-year anniversary of the league. And then because she was so amazing, she was hired full-time, which is super cool. And I do want to find out, before you get off the phone, what exactly you're doing now. But I couldn't find anyone to go with me to the World Series game. It was a Friday night game against the Red Sox. And so I literally bought one ticket and I spent $1,000. I've never done anything like that in my life. I spent $750 on the ticket. I had no pull, no Dodgers helping me. I spent $750 on the ticket and $250 to park inside the area because I didn't want, alone, I didn't want to walk back to my car by myself. I just didn't. In the dark, outside of the stadium. So it was important to me to park inside the stadium. Well, then the day of or the day before the game, you're like, hey, what are you doing? Guess what? I got a ticket. Because you're a Red Sox fan. And you're like, oh, I got a ticket. And I'm like, how much did you spend, Pete? And what did you tell me?
$600. Yeah, something up there.
Yeah, it was not as much. And it was not as much, but I was so thrilled. So we drove down to the game together. We had the best time. And she sat in the left field bleachers, and I was sitting behind home plate, up above home plate. And I said to her, I said, if there's any seats around me, I'll text you. Because otherwise, we're not going to see each other till we drive home. And it was the 8th inning. And I said, hey, these two people in front of me just left. You should come up here. You came up here. And how many innings did we have together?
I think we had a full game. I think it was a full 9, the back 9.
Because it took you like a half inning to get up there. And because the game went 18 innings, you sat with me for 9. Wait, I think it went 19 innings, right? Didn't they win in the bottom? Gosh, it was so long ago. It wasn't even that long ago. I'm so focused on what's going on right now. Well, that was my memory of us. And I appreciate you calling in. What are you doing now?
Well, so my official title is Content Syndication Manager. And pretty much my team and I are responsible for distributing a bunch of digital content to different partners and also to our clubs. We have a really, really strong connection with our teams. There's an initiative called NFL 33 where the NFL, the league, is essentially the 33rd team. And so we share a bunch of content and we collaborate a bunch. And so my team sends a bunch of content to them, and then they give us content so that we can use on our platforms. And it's a really, really great collaboration between pretty much everybody in the NFL.
Are you based in LA still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. We moved to our new office in Inglewood, right next to SoFi.
Oh my gosh. Have you gone to a
beautiful
game at SoFi yet? You have, right?
Yes. Went to the Monday night game against the Raiders. It was incredible.
Fun.
Yeah.
And you're an Oregon Duck as well as a Syracuse Orange. You're an Orange Duck, basically.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
And you're doing well. You're happy. You're. Did you sign a contract, or are you? How's it going? Like, you're full time, permanent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, full time, permanent. Everything's great.
So rad.
It's so fun. Yeah, I'm having a blast, and
Good.
The season is definitely the best part. So I can't believe it's week 6 tomorrow. It flies by.
I'm sure. She's Peyton. She was here 3 years ago and a summer from the Syracuse grad program. She is joining the CJ Silas Show. A couple questions before I do one. We're going to either do word association, where I say a word and you tell me exactly the first thing that comes to your head. We're going to get to that. But first, quickly, the biggest mistake you made when you worked for CJ Silas?
Oh, gosh. Biggest mistake I made when I worked for you.
You never made a mistake. Okay, next question. You never made a mistake. Let's be honest, okay? Sorry, but she didn't, okay? Hardest thing that I ever made you do.
Oh, man. Gosh, you're putting on the spot.
I'm sorry. Should I have told you? Okay, best guest that I interviewed. Best guest. Your favorite guest that I interviewed while you were on the show.
Oh, easy. Jessica Mendoza. That was an amazing interview.
That was fun.
Oh, and oh my gosh, wait. The president of the Hall of Fame, C. David Baker. What am I talking about?
Yes.
Both of those were incredible interviews.
Yay. Okay, good. Okay, now we're going to play a game. We're going to play word association. I say a word. You keep it clean. First thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
Will do.
Tiger Woods.
Golf.
Alex Rodriguez.
Oof. The steroids.
Odell Beckham Jr.
The catch.
The hotel lobby.
The hotel lobby?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay. Brett Favre.
Funny.
The New York Yankees.
Blah.
Cat.
Say it again.
Cat. Not dog, but cat.
Oh, cat. Well, my cat Stanley.
Okay, you think right about your cat Stanley. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Magic Johnson.
Lakers.
Simone Biles.
Great.
Simone Biles.
The GOAT.
Urban Meyer.
Ooh, in a lot of trouble.
All right, Peyton, thank you for calling. I appreciate you. I do, and I think it's the 500th show. It's either today or next week or the next, but it's around now. Thanks, girl.
You know what? I'm happy to celebrate now.
Okay,
Thank you.
proud of you. I want you to come up here in March for the 10-year anniversary show, okay?
Oh, heck yeah, I'm there.
And it's not football season, so you should be able to get a weekend off, okay?
Yep, I should.
All right. You are one of the CJ Silas Show interns that's working professionally in the business, and I'm darn proud of you, and I miss you, and I think the world of you, and I'm just love you, man. I'm right here for you if you ever need someone.
Love you. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Peyton, one of my favorites. Let's get to it. Whew. No more phone calls. Who's on hold? Tell them to call next week. I don't want to know who it is. We're going to have to do it next week. It is Black History Celebration. Jesse Jackson, born October 8th, 1941, an American political activist, a Baptist minister. July 16th, 1960, while home from college, he joined 7 other African Americans in a sit-in at the Greenville Public Library in Greenville, South Carolina, which only allowed white people. PUSH stands for People United to Serve Humanity. He ran for president in 1984 and 1988. 2012, he commended President Obama's decision to support gay marriage and compared the fight for marriage equality to the fight against slavery and the laws that once prevented interracial marriages. Oh, my gosh. I didn't even know there was such a thing. Awful. Jesse Jackson. Fannie Lou Hamer. Born October 6, 1917, an American voting and women's rights activist, community organizer, and a leader in the civil rights movement. She was the co-founder and vice chair of the Freedom Democratic Party. She represented them at the 1964 Democratic National Convention. She was also a co-founder of the National Women's Political Caucus, an organization created to recruit, train, and support women of all races who wish to seek election to government office. She helped and encouraged thousands of African Americans in Mississippi to become voters, registering and helping hundreds of disenfranchised people in her area through the work in her programs like the Freedom Farm Cooperative. Fannie Lou Hamer. Arthur Wharton, born 1865. In 1865, October 28th, widely considered to be the first black professional footballer in the world. An all-around sportsman, in 1886, he equaled the amateur world record of 10 seconds for the 100-yard sprint in the AAA championship. He was also a cyclist, a cricketer. He played for local teams in Yorkshire and Lancashire. Wharton was the first mixed heritage footballer to turn professional. In 2003, Wharton was inducted into the English Football Hall of Fame in recognition of the impact he made on the game. Arthur Wharton, 1865. Oh my gosh. Black History Month on the CJ Silas Show. An important component. I'm sorry I saved it till the end, but I had to go on my rant, my football rant earlier. The Cal Poly Hancock and Cuesta Sports Update. Hancock had a bye after the weak Mount Sacs game was postponed. The Bulldogs are number 17. Next up, they're at East LA this weekend. 4 o'clock is the kickoff. You can listen to that game and watch it. athletics.hancockcollege.edu. Men's soccer for the Bulldogs lost at home to Santa Barbara. Next up, they're at Santa Monica. They're 1-8-2. Women's soccer at Hancock, they played to a 2-2 draw. Next up, they're at Moore Park on Friday. Cuesta women's soccer lost to Hancock. Next, they host number 10 Ventura. Men's water polo is 18-3 on the year, 3-0 in conference play. They're hosting the Cuesta 2 tournament, 10 teams this weekend. Volleyball swept Pierce. They're hosting Mission. Cross country, both the men and women took second place at Visalia. They are at the Western State Conference Championships in Whittier on the 22nd of October. Cal Poly volleyball swept Riverside. They're 8-10, 6-1 in Big West. Then They swept Bakersfield and UC Davis. They're on a roll. Third place in the Big West. Next up, they're traveling to Hawaii. Football lost to Montana State, and they have a bye this week. That's your Cal Poly Hancock and Cuesta Sports Update. It's the CJ Silas Show. If the Dodgers win tomorrow, they will play Game 4 next week, the NLCS, so we won't have a CJ Silas Show, so you'll just have to wait and see. I'm out. Turning off my mic.
Thanks for listening to the CJ Silas Show. Find her podcast on the CJSilasShow.com. Follow her on all social media platforms, including her YouTube channel. Make an appointment to listen every Wednesday on ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7. CJ out.